again, and welcome to another in our continuing series of monthly 5-minute fly-the-wing flight maneuver videos. This month we're out in the Cub practicing what's commonly misreferred to in general aviation circles as Dutch rolls. If you look on Wikipedia, Dutch roll actually relates to the directional stability that's designed into an airplane. But for our purposes today, what we're trying to do is dial in how much cross-control inputs we're going to need to maintain center line on landing and secondarily on takeoff in a crosswind. This will be helpful in any airplane you fly, but particularly in tailwheel airplanes where that center of gravity is behind the main wheels and the tail's always trying to come around as the airplane weather vanes. Always need to keep the longitudinal axis of the airplane aligned with the runway center line on landing and rollout for that matter. What we're going to do is pick a spot off in the distance. I have a mountain way out there about 30 miles, and I've got a spot on the windshield where that mountain is intersecting. I'm going to bring in some left aileron and then try to keep that spot in the same exact place on the windshield by using right rudder. I'm cross-controlled at this point. I'm actually slipping. I have the left wing down with left aileron and a lot of right rudder in there. In fact, when I reach the limit of the rudder and I have the pedal all the way to the floor, that is going to be the amount of crosswind I'm going to be able to land this plane in that particular wind at that particular runway. Once you lose directional control and you can't keep the longitudinal axis of the plane aligned with the center line, you've exceeded the crosswind limits of that particular airplane on that particular runway. I go back to the right, put some right aileron in, a little bit of left rudder. Going to need a little bit of backstick pressure, maybe a little more power just to maintain altitude as I'm slipping the plane, literally slamming it sideways through the wind. It's not very well streamlined at this point, and that's the whole point. If you look on the inclinometer, the ball is way outside the cage, and we're cross-controlled at this point. When you start to do this maneuver, your inputs may be a little out of sync, and you may actually see the nose swing around like this. That's okay. That's the reason we practice. Just get it dialed in. Smooth, small corrections early. Try to go back left and right. Hold it out there for a second, and then bring it back around. Keep that spot nailed on the same spot on the windshield. And if you have trouble going back and forth smoothly, and I'm having a little trouble talking and doing this at the same time, it is a coordination maneuver. Just try to hang it out there and just do the slip portion of it, because that's what you're going to need on final approach all the way down to landing. I want to try to maintain the same altitude. At this point, we're at 3,500 feet. Obviously, if you move your head around, the spot on the windshield is going to move too. So you want to stay steady, ride with the plane. Don't correct for that bank angle. And just try to keep that spot on the same place on the windshield all the way through the maneuver. So that's Dutch rolls in a nutshell. Go out and practice in your airplane, or for that matter, any airplane you're transitioning to or taking training in. It's a great maneuver to give you the feel of how much control input you're going to need to keep that plane aligned with center line on landings and takeoffs. Go out, have fun, and be safe, and I'll see you next month for another Fly the Wing 5-minute flight maneuver video.